This is one of the problems that's missed the most from this quiz. It says the diagonal of a square is 10 inches long. What is the length in inches of each side of the square? Write your answer in simplified radical form. A lot of the times it's missed because you guys aren't putting it in radical form. You're putting the decimal instead. But just for a reminder on how to work through the problem, we have our square. The diagonal is 10 inches long. And with the square, we know that all four sides are congruent. So we know that this, each of the sides is, we'll just call it X. And because this is a right triangle and both of these are the same, we know that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which means that we have X and X times the square root of 2. So to figure out what X is, we're going to set X times the square root of 2 equal to 10. When we solve this, we will get our answer. It will have a radical in it because when you click this area here, there's no way to put a radical sign in there. What you're going to do is you're going to put whatever the number is. So something, square root, something, whatever the numbers are, right? So whatever you get, you're going to have something, square root, something in as your answer. Okay. And that's one of the things that gets missed the most is that you don't have that square root in there. And just because you can't use the square root symbol doesn't mean you can't type it out in words. Here's another one that is missed quite often. It says find the value of A to the nearest tenth. And they give us two angles and one opposite side. So we're going to set up a ratio here. And we're going to be using the sine of one angle over its opposite side equal to the sine of another angle over its opposite side. All right, so this kind of goes with our geometric mean idea. We're going to cross multiply and we're going to solve that. If you are using the calculator that is on your computer, the one that looks like this, when you go to find the sine, you put the number in first, then hit sine. If you're using a different type of calculator, you might have to hit the sine button first and then the number. So it all depends on what kind of calculator you're using. But in this case, I would hit the number first, then sine, and then multiply that by the 7.2. Right? So that means that this 6.29726 blah, 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 blah is equal to the sine of 77 times A. So I'm going to divide by the sine of 77. So I have to hit the 77 first, then hit the sine button, and then hit enter. And I would round this to the nearest tenth, which is one decimal. So 6.5 is the answer for this one. And here's one last one that I will give you a hint on, which the following could be the measures of the sides of a right triangle. Again, I don't know why this no text provided shows up, but that's not an answer. The biggest number would represent the hypotenuse, the smaller numbers representing the sides. So when you're looking at a squared plus b squared equals c squared, the biggest number is always going to be your c. Okay. And then you will put in the other two for your a and your b. So when you write it out, for example, square root 5 squared plus square root 12 squared equals square root 13 squared, right? The squares cancel out the square roots. 5 plus 12 equals 13. So 17 equals 13. That doesn't work because 17 is not equal to 13. So we know that's not the answer. And you would do that for the other three choices as well until you'd found the one that ends up with something equal to itself. And then you would have your correct answer.